All right, this is Jeremy Cogan with Blockchain WTF. I like it, yes. Round of applause.
Thank you, thank you. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by our talk about the importance of blockchain education. Hope everyone's having a great conference. I know I am. I've done a couple conferences before, so I am no pro by any means. This is it. Can you hear it? Closer mouth? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I got that now. No pro by any means. I have done a couple conferences, never a super conference before, so this is uncharted waters. Hopefully I don't hit any reefs. We'll see. Our discussion today is focused on how to more effectively teach these enigmatic, confusing technologies known as blockchains and cryptocurrencies. We're going to be spending the next 20 minutes or so together, so I figured I'd introduce myself, give you some background on myself, and then we'll dive right in. Hopefully you'll walk out of here with better understanding on how to convey blockchain concepts and ideas. All right, my name is Jeremy Cogan. I have a degree in legal studies from Indiana University Bloomington. Go Hoosiers. I focused on public policy and global econ there, and I'm currently a certified Bitcoin professional. I grew up in the Chicagoland area where I currently reside, and that's also the home base of our project, Blockchain.WTF, and that's a .wtf instead of a .com, because our goal is to teach people what the fuck is a blockchain. It's simple. Pretty straightforward. I wish I came up with the name. More on blockchain.wtf in a minute, but I want to talk about my tech background just so you all have an idea where I'm coming from, have some context. So I grew up in the 90s. A lot of you probably recognize that image. I know I do. So I remember a time before the internet was widely used by everyone for everything. However, that pretty much changed by the time I was 8 or so, and it was really interesting seeing this change as a student because the curriculum didn't immediately catch up to the technology. My elementary school days were spent looking up topics in an encyclopedia or looking for library books via card catalog. All the while, there was a technology right around the corner that would fundamentally change how we learned. Google would soon put the idea of encyclopedias in the rearview mirror to the celebration of everyone but encyclopedia salesmen. So I grew up and I saw this change, this gradual change that obviously didn't happen all at once, but over time I saw this technology take hold. And looking back, I recognized how much the learning process was impacted by the introduction of the internet. And it certainly made for a more efficient, informed, and connected world. So let's fast forward a little bit and talk about how I stumbled into the rabbit hole that is blockchain technology. Previous to November 2016, I had never heard the term blockchain. I had no real understanding of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. I had heard of Bitcoin, I was aware of its existence, couldn't tell you much more beyond that. About that time I met our project manager, Jordan, and he dropped this bombshell on me that is blockchain technology, and he threw around all these promises and hope for a technology, and of course I was skeptical, so I went and did my own research, but the more and more research I did, and always do your own research, the more and more research I did, I found that these claims actually did have some backing. Technology was early, however, this technology did have the potential to change the world, and that's when I fell down the proverbial Bitcoin rabbit hole. So how did blockchain.WTF come to be? Around this time last year, our founder, Taylor Gehring, and 4 or 5 of us sat down, and we were introduced to this idea that was going to bring blockchain technology and knowledge about that technology to the masses. At this point, I was knee-deep in this stuff. Blockchain had completely captivated my imagination. A technology that I had never heard of 6 months prior now had me completely obsessed, and I wasn't the only one. You could definitely see the growing demand for knowledge on these topics. And along with that, there were more and more early believers in blockchain technology and what it could do for the world. And most of us believers saw that adoption, or at the very least greater recognition of the technology, was on the close horizon. So what is blockchain WTF and what do we do? So this led us to create blockchain.wtf, a website that would take this elusive, new, and confusing technology and would decipher everything about blockchains and cryptocurrencies. Ideally, it'd be the resource that I didn't have when I was looking to learn about blockchains. I constantly had to jump around from website to website. I had to jump through hoops just to get basic information, maybe jumping three websites just to really solidify one topic. The problem was that there was no all-encompassing resource about blockchain, and that was the goal, and that became the goal of blockchain.wtf. So why bother? Why start this venture? Beyond all the excitement and potential that we saw in this technological change, we believe that the internet is broken. No, that's kind of a big umbrella term or statement. Let me explain what I mean. What I'm trying to say is that there are so many issues with the internet. The fact is, everyone here has probably experienced some of these issues or inefficiencies. Let's look to some examples. In my opinion, right now, the biggest issue with our current internet is the lack of privacy. And that's a pretty broad issue. It's kind of two-pronged. Not only do you have to worry about losing control of your personal information via hacks, which we'll touch on later, but with many countries around the world, you have to worry about government legally or illegally monitoring your communications. That's reality for several parts of the world. A lot of this stuff relates back to the principle of centralization. As history has progressed, these really large social and financial institutions have become more and more ingrained in our society. We form governments to maintain order and create order, and banks and the like to control our financial systems. Relying on these centralized entities, powerful entities, wasn't really a choice unless you were an anarchist or enjoyed keeping your life savings under your mattress. There really was an opt-out button when it came to being part of these centralized institutions. You simply didn't get a choice, and the fact is, most people still don't know that with this new technology, they do now have a choice. More issues with the internet, the lack of a standardized currency. Even though we have a global marketplace, we don't really have the necessary interoperability via currency that could really take full advantage of this newfound marketplace. Cryptocurrency allows us to transcend these financial borders. Another issue, lack of identity protections. The internet isn't a place that's going to protect your identity. You can take every step to secure your devices. However, with constant hacks at major corporations, odds are your information is out there right now to the highest bidder. This completely undermines any identity or credit system that we have. The good news is that there were some visionaries, such as the unknown Satoshi Nakamoto, who saw these problems develop, and a solution for a better internet was presented. Fact is that the blockchain is coming and the future is decentralized. If all goes according to plan, blockchain is going to affect every one of our daily lives in the not too far distant future. Even though this is the case, there are still a lot of barriers to teaching people about this technology. Let me give you an example. So how was everybody's Thanksgiving? No, I didn't misspeak. I'm fully aware it was 4 months ago, but I want you to think back. You probably saw a lot of friends or family that you might not see very often, and the inevitable question that comes up is, what are you up to nowadays? It was actually my grandma who asked this, and there I was given the seemingly impossible task of explaining what a blockchain or Bitcoin is to my 78-year-old grandmother. Not an enviable position. By the way, she's never used the internet, or even a computer for that matter. But this problem isn't unique to the technologically challenged. Over the past year, I've had the challenge of explaining blockchain and cryptocurrency to my peers, people who grew up with the internet. And that's still no easy task. Even people that grew up with the internet come to this new space and are immediately overwhelmed. Everything is scary, complex, so hard to understand that people don't know where to start, and they get scared off. There are several factors that lead people to being completely overwhelmed, and at blockchain.wtf, it's our job to decipher each of these factors so we can teach this technology more effectively. Some barriers to teaching blockchain technology that we've made note of include a lack of awareness. While Bitcoin, crypto, and blockchain had a breakout year in 2017, there's still so many people who are not aware of or are misinformed about blockchain technology. Additionally, cryptocurrency has had to overcome a stigma. A lot of people learned about, and I'm the case for this actually, a lot of people learned about crypto when popular and anonymous black markets started popping up, and Bitcoin has had to overcome this stigma. However, recent years has kind of seen a legitimization of the currency. For example, we have a chair in our office affectionately known as the Bitcoin chair because it was purchased from Overstock.com using Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's had quite the journey from the Silk Road to legitimacy via Overstock.com, and we're seeing more and more payment options being added on a daily basis now. Another barrier to teaching blockchain technology, I think people have been caught up in the rapid growth. Opinions are influenced by the media, YouTube, or by what your neighbor or coworker is saying. And that's led to an environment where people kind of dive in without being fully informed. And that could be a very dangerous prospect, especially when it involves finances. I've actually read stories about people even going into debt recently in order to purchase cryptocurrency.